recipe for success. It doesn't hurt to have the fans that they do, but the Rangers rewarded themselves with the feeling that comes from big goals and convincing wins. They'll need all of that tonight because they'll face off against Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, and the Dallas Stars, who have the best record in the NHL and are the league's highest scoring team. Those two stars in the middle of 50-point seasons are a big reason why. It's on next. The New York Rangers are presented by Chase. So what kind of year is 2016 going to be on home ice? We begin to find out tonight. It's the New York Rangers against the very formidable Dallas Stars. Good evening, everybody. Al Trautwig in the Visa Gameside studio today. Alain Vigneault, the Rangers head coach, said he thinks the team is headed in the right direction. That may be, but they'll want to be the Tampa Bay New York Rangers and not the Florida Panther version that we saw in their last game, which was a 3-0 shutout. Now, the Dallas Stars have not lost 3 games in a row all season long. That's how good they've been. But after 1-goal losses to both the Devils and the Islanders, that's an experience the Rangers would love to put on them. But in both of those games, the Stars came roaring back. They did lose, but they did come roaring back facing huge deficits. For more, let's go to Sam Rosen and Joe Micheletti. Sam?
Thanks, Al. Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year to you all. And for the Rangers, they're hoping to start this home ice part of the schedule of 2016 on a positive note. They want to get things going.
Yeah, you look back to 2015, their season was pretty darn good. I mean, they did a lot of good things. But, of course, the expectations of this team, the way they played the last 4 or 5 years, are high, not only from the outside but from the inside as well. They know they're not playing as well as they can be yet. They feel that they can get there, and they're going to have to get there. And once they get, I think, some of their confidence back, they expect to go on one of those rolls where they win 8 or so out of 10.
Rangers are looking for consistency in their game on the ice. One of the guys who's giving them consistency is on defense, and that's Kevin Klein.
Well, it's been a discussion that a lot of people have had, coaches, players, us, fans. You know, what's happened to this great defensive team that we've seen? Well, they've tried hard to try and correct some of those mistakes, but getting Kevin Klein back in the lineup has really helped. I mean, these last 2 games, they've only allowed a total of 42 shots against, and they've only allowed 14 scoring chances against. A lot of that has to do because of Kevin Klein. You watch him play, he's really a smart player, and when he needs to play physically, he can do it, but he plays smart. He doesn't take many penalties. He'll fight if you want him to, but he'll hit to be effective and not necessarily put somebody through the glass. And he's also got the skating ability to recover when he might not be in a perfect position. He's smart enough and he skates well enough to recover defensively. And as we know, he can contribute with the puck as well.
He and the rest of the Rangers defense will have to be at their best. They are playing the highest scoring team in the NHL, the Dallas Stars. Tonight's scouting report is brought to you by your local tri-state area Land Rover retailers. This is a great 1-2 combination. They play on the same line. The captain, Jamie Benn, leads the NHL in goals. Right behind him is Tyler Seguin.
It's the best twosome in the league, and you put them on the ice together, as you mentioned, Sam, as they do, and they're the most dangerous players in the National Hockey League. I mean, they do things like this and make it look easy. Jamie Benn, you know, people talk about Jamie Benn. They mention Mark Messier. Big, strong, tough, mean, can shoot the puck, and he's even a better passer than he is a shooter. And then you add to that Tyler Seguin on the other side. He's right up there in shots on goal in the league. He can score from any place. Quick release, tremendous speed with which he plays, and these players know how to finish, boy. They've got game. Both these players are game breakers, and you better watch them closely.
Rangers got shut out in Florida. They're looking for good offensive combinations. J.T. Miller goes up to the top line with Derek Brassard and Matt Zuccarello.
You know, Sam, it's deserving, but it's also a sign of where he's come maturity-wise. This is a player that's told us over the last month, I want to be noticed every game. And it's not just physically, which he's done, but he's being noticed in different ways. You know, that the hitting, his ability to do that, obviously noticeable. But the fact that when he gets the puck as well and can make plays is something else that's been seen from a lot of people. And the other thing is, it's not just toughness in hitting somebody, but it's the toughness in wanting to get to the front of the net, to score goals, to score tough goals. He's doing all of those things. And as other players are struggling to try and find their games, his confidence is continuing to go up.
Rangers need some good contributions up and down the line, like Kevin Hayes coming back from being stretched for 2 straight games. They need him to score the way he did at the end of last season. The Dallas Stars have more than their top 2. They've got a 3-time Cup champion in Patrick Sharp.
A great night for hockey in New York. Rangers and the Dallas Stars. Closed captioning is brought to you by the New York Lottery. Get out and play. Check out our Audi goaltending matchup. Henrik Lundqvist tied for 5th in the league in wins with 17. The save percentage at .920. However, he's lost 5 of his last 7 starts. Antti Niemi gets the start in goal. He has been the guy is designated as number 1. Kari Lehtonen, number 2, played in the game against the Islanders. And he is 2-2-1 lifetime against the Rangers. Rick Nash came number 900 of his NHL career.
You know, you could just see when John Giannone interviewed Rick in the pregame show, you could just see the enthusiasm in his eyes and the accomplishment. That's an awful lot of games. It's been a good career for him.
Underway. First of 2 meetings. They'll meet in Dallas February 27th. The Stars with 60 points on the season. Line coming in at the top of your screen. The lineup's brought to you by Infinity. Luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. Victor Stolberg in deep working along the boards. Rangers have Tanner Glass, Victor Stolberg, and Dominic Moore. Moore the center on that line. Mark Stahl and Kevin Klein on defense. The Stars, having lost their last 2, one in overtime to the Devils. And then the game for the Islanders the other night, they were down 6-3, cut it to 6-5. Came close to tying the game.
Boy, did they ever. All right, this is a team that has scored 24 more goals than any other team in the National Hockey League. So they are never out of it.
That's it. JT Miller on with Brassard and Zuccarello. Girardi and McDonough on defense. Zuccarello working the corner against John Klingberg, number 3. Goligoski, number 33, also on defense for Dallas. Klingberg moves it out of the zone to Tyler Seguin. What a scoring race going on in the NHL with Patrick Kane, number 1, and right behind Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin.
Unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, Jamie Benn wins the scoring title last season with 4 points on the final game, and a week later he gets both hips operated on. And it took him until July to get back and start working out again. And for Matt Zuccarello, he continues to lead the Rangers in scoring, and he talked this morning. He said, we just got to keep going, trying to find our confidence, keep playing together. We still have a lot of confidence in one another. We talk about it all the time, so we just need to win. That'll get the confidence back.
And on the ice for the first time in a regular season game is the New York Rangers, Jason Megna, number 23. That pass for Rick Nash went off his leg. Stepan set him up. Stepan shoots and scores! Derek Stepan gives the Rangers a 1-0 lead with his first point since returning from injury.
Shortly after the face-off, the Rangers just get control of it, and they stay with it. Good forecheck by Stepan, tries to set up Nash. Nash can't control it as it goes off his skate, but they go right back to it. Megna does a nice job getting to the puck, finding Nash, and then the rebound is right there. Megna finds Nash, who gets the shot, and the rebound to Derek Stepan, and oh, did he need that.
Just want to correct something. His first goal since returning from injury. In his 7th game, he had 1 assist during the previous 6 games. But for Derek Stepan, a big one. That one's deflected on goal. Niemi stopped it. Rangers get a good start at 1:56. Derek Stepan, 7th of the season. Penalty upcoming on the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, Foss drew the penalty on the side of the net, and this will be a hooking call against Johnny Oduya. So what a start for the Rangers. The quick early goal. They come right back with pressure on the decent setup by Hayes, and then here's the penalty. Oduya gets tied up. There's the stick underneath the arm of Jesper Fast. And so the Rangers now with the first power play of the game.
And this Rangers power play is brought to you by Volkswagen. Rangers power play, which had been clicking, has gone 0 for 9 over the last 3 games. Brassard, Nash, Zuccarello, McDonough, and Boyle for the power play. The puck cleared down the ice. And Lundqvist steers it over to Ryan McDonough.
Rangers goal, his 7th of the season, scored by number 21.
We saw Derek Stepan in the hallway prior to the game, and he was saying that he felt a lot better. His body was starting to feel a lot better, and that's a real good sign. Here's Boyle for Zuccarello.
Stepan, his 7th of the season from Nash.
Up there is Jamie Benn, who kills penalties. He does everything for this team. He's the captain and the leader. Brassard back to McDonough. Big drive and hit. Nash in front. Nash with a backhander hits the post. Nash again. Nash moving toward the net. Boyle's shot was blocked. Boyle again. And a save by Niemi, and he holds it.
Boy, what a start for Rick Nash. He's got this determination on his face and the way he is getting to the net, getting shots. Doesn't want to be deterred. That's the one that hits him. Watch how he stays with it and doesn't give up. Gets a shot there, stays with it again, can't be defended, takes it hard back to the net, and that turns into another scoring chance. That last one by Dan Boyle.
Rangers change units. Shot by Jason Megna. Save by Niemi, and he stops play. Jason Megna getting power play time on the second power play unit.
Well, they don't have a lot of right-handed shots up front, so that's why Megna is getting the chance. Here's Nash after inadvertently blocking a shot. He gets that chance, and Niemi makes a save, and then one more right off the pass, and Niemi forced to make another pad save.
On the goal by Derek Stepan, Megna got an assist. His first point as a New York Ranger. And the puck taken away and cleared by Vernon Fiddler.
Well, Megna was telling us this morning that things were going well for him down the AHL, getting lots of shots, plenty of scoring opportunities. Wasn't always getting a lot of puck luck, but he felt good about his game.
Hayes, Miller, Megna, Yandel for the power play. Derek Stepan on as well. Stepan got his 7th from Nash and Megna at 1:56. Give the Rangers the lead. Jordy Benn turning it around to Jyrki Jokipaka. Puck taken out by Antoine Roussel, number 21. Roussel cuts across. Filling time, winds it deep. The Rangers take it back. Yandel skates up ice with final seconds of the power play. And the team's back at full strength. Rangers 3 shots on goal on the power play early. Niemi able to stop them all. Rangers with a 1-0 lead, 4.5 minutes into the game. Puck chipped out of the zone by Tanner Glass. Patrick Sharp sending it back to Goligoski. And now Demers to Goligoski. McDonough with Sagan on him. McDonough moves it, it's taken back by Patrick Sharp. Johnny Oduya plays it off the end boards. Now Jamie Benn. Benn's pass taken away by Glass, and Dominic Moore sends it down the ice. Double team, swings it around the boards for Benn. Jamie Benn stopped, and he pulled down Victor Stolberg. And a penalty on Jamie Benn. Stolberg, good hustle along the boards.
Now both Jamie Benn and the head coach right there, Lindy Ruff, they've talked after the last game. They said we're starting to take too many penalties. We can't keep taking penalties, and they've taken a couple of early ones here. And there's Jamie Benn, gets a stick into the skates of Stolberg after Stolberg makes a good defensive play. And so the Rangers with another power play here in this early part of the first period.
And this power play presented by Volkswagen. Jamie Benn for tripping at 5:16. Brassard, Nash, Zuccarello, McDonough, and Boyle. McDonough, Boyle, and McDonough. Boyle along the boards. Nash set up in front of the goaltender. Brassard moves toward the net. Feet outside, and shot by Zuccarello is blocked. Zuccarello checked by Fiddler. And the puck cleared down the ice.
That's real good puck movement by the Rangers. They moved the puck quickly enough to force Dallas to have to leave their positions, and that left Zuccarello open, but Fiddler made a good block.
Puck shot in by Boyle. Zuccarello's got it in the corner. Check there by Demers. Brassard. Shot by Nash was blocked by Oduya, who's able to clear.
Now, we talked about Patrick Sharp being an addition on this team. Well, Johnny Oduya, one of those as well. It's won those cups in Chicago. He's been an important piece of this puzzle.
Hayes sends down the board. Stepan swings it around. Stepan is there after Megna sent it around the boards. Megna in the corner. Tied up by Demers. Megna played parts of 2 seasons with the Pittsburgh Penguins before coming to the Rangers. That shot deflected wide. Here's JT Miller back to Jason Megna. Hayes across to Yandel, back to Hayes, who takes the shot and blocked by Travis Moen. 1 minute to go on the power play. Megna down the boards for Stepan. Flex across, played there by Hayes. Yandel with some room. Finds an open man. It's Boyle. Shot him wide. Hard shot. Stepan got shoved into the post and knocked the net off the pegs.
Yeah, that was Jason Demers, I believe, that got him from behind, and Derek Stepan's wondering why there was no call there. That shot by Dan Boyle just missed on the short side. There's Demers again. There's the push from behind, and Stepan able to protect himself before going hard. Watch him get his hands up so his face and head doesn't hit the crossbar.
Have some problems with the arena clock, and the officials are over at the scorer's table to check out the time and the penalty time as well. The referee there is Eric Furlat. The other referee is Frederick Lecuyer. Now they seem to have everything in order. They think they do. Checking the clock. It's been win one, lose one for the Rangers of late. And the Rangers looking to put things together in what is developing into a very, very tight race for the playoffs as the teams are reaching the midway point of the season. This is game number 40 for the Rangers. Hard shot by Girardi, is saved by Niemi. Girardi takes it back. Down low, Miller. Pass in front for Brassard, was broken up by Oduya. Shot by Brassard is high and wide. Team's back to full strength. Oduya plays it up the boards and all the way down the ice. Race for the puck. McDonough and Ben. It's an icing on Dallas.
Boy, the Rangers again with a couple of good chances. They've missed the net a few times, and Niemi has stopped a few others as well. Boy, JT Miller passed up a good opportunity to shoot. That was a real good chance, but trying to set up one of his line mates on the play, and then Brassard had a turnaround chance. That went high and missed the net as well.
Little too unselfish at that point. More Glass and Stolberg on from the Rangers. The puck chipped out of the zone, recovered by Kevin Klein. 7:35 gone by in the first period. Rangers 5 shots on goal. Dallas yet to get a shot on goal. Eaves dropped it off to Jason Spezza. That shot by Eaves goes wide. Played by Ricky Paka. It deflects over the glass and out of play. 7:55 gone by in the first. The Rangers score first. A minute 56 into the game. Derek Stepan with his 7th of the season. John Chinone's between the benches, checking things out. John?
Yeah, at first I was checking out Victor Stahlberger, spent a lot of time during that TV timeout skating off that puck that he took off the left foot. Looks like he's going to stay on the bench and get his next shift. What we've seen so far is what Rick Nash told me in the pregame the Rangers had to do. Their focus offensively, get traffic in front of Antoniemi. They have 11 shot attempts so far. The Stars have blocked 4. 3 have hit Rangers players in front as well. And even though they didn't get to the net, that's what the Rangers wanted to see more of in this game. That was their focus, guys.
Thank you, John. We'll be checking in with John throughout the evening. And a whistle, a hand pass whistled against Dallas. We're a little over 8 minutes into the game. The Stars have yet to get a shot on goal.
For the Stars, their 7th game in 11 days. And for Alain Vigneault, he continues to push. You know, he talked this morning about the Stars team, boy, and he gave his, he really, you watch the Stars all season long. I mean, they've been right up there at the top from the start. You don't have to say an awful lot to your players in preparation for something like this. If you're not awake and alert, it's not going to be a good night.
Jesper Fast coming back. Rangers have a line of Lindberg, Hayes, and Fast. Stahl. Bounces past Goligoski, racing for Jesper Fast. Fast moves in, fires across, saved by Niemi, with Lindberg cutting in front, looking for a tip. There's Lindberg.
Yeah, Spezza was there too. Might have gone off him as well. Niemi's been sharp.
Hayes with a takeaway. The puck cleared out. And Nichushkin, number 43, moving in on Stahl. Big Russian player. He is one good-looking young player. Injury set him back.
Yeah, Sam, when he was a rookie a couple of years ago, he drew more penalties than anybody because he's so big and could hold on to the puck. Then he had these hip injuries, had surgery, and still trying to gain that strength back. But you're right, he is a good-looking young player.
Up the boards, Rangers do a good job keeping it in, and it's banked out of the zone and recovered by Dan Boyle. Taken back by Colton Sevior. Sevior sends it in. Dan Boyle has it taken away by Roussel. Eakin, Cody Eakin, number 20, plays it up the boards to Aduya. That shot blocked by J.T. Miller. Oh, Miller gave up his body on that one.
There it is again, right, Sam? Trying, doing something every game to be noticed. Sometimes it's with the puck. Sometimes it's without, like that block right there. Nice job.
Rangers doing a good job of shutting things down in the neutral zone, making it hard for Dallas to get through the neutral zone.
Another play.
Just like that, here comes Miller with Brassard. That goes off the skate of Oduya. Miller chasing it down, and the puck brought out by Jamie Benn. Now it's Patrick Sharp in front for Benn, and a good job by Girardi on Jamie Benn. And a whistle for an offside on Dallas. 9:50 to go. First period. Rangers have a 1-0 lead. Stars have no shots on goal. Spotlight on Rick Nash, 900th NHL game, 723 points. Leads all players who were drafted in 2002 with the 723 points, and only the second player from that draft to play 900 games, the other, Jay Bouwmeester of St. Louis with 960. Play daily fantasy hockey on DraftKings.com, the official daily fantasy partner of the New York Rangers. John Klingberg sends it deep. Klein knocked down by Jason Spezza. Loose puck in front and tipped wide by Nichushkin. Larry Nichushkin, number 43, with a chance. That long reach. Dominic Moore. Checked by Klingberg. Spinning. Backhander in front. Deflected away. Niemi in good position, hugging the post. Taken back by Tanner Glass. Alex Goligoski playing it off the boards and out of the zone. 9:10 to go in the first. Rangers have had a great record this season when scoring first. Only one regulation loss. 16-1-3 when they score first. But Dallas with a winning record when their opponent scores first, 10-5. Fired up the middle, good pass. There's Eaves. A back pass for Jordy Benn. Boyle was tangled up with Travis Moen. Moen behind the net. Boyle checks in. Eaves gets to it. That shot by Jokipaka deflects up into the netting, and play stops with 8:28 to go in this first period. From crowning a champion to nominating a president, the Garden has seen it all. Friday night on MSG, go inside the presidential nomination of Bill Clinton on the Garden's Defining Moments, presented by SAP. Friday night following Knicks Spurs on MSG Network.
Florida Panthers trying to win their 9th in a row. They're in Buffalo, or 10th in a row. Pardon me. Thank you, Sam. Jaromir Jagr scores again.
That kid Jagr, he's a good prospect, isn't he,
14th.
Joe? Unbelievable. There's the first shot on goal for the Dallas Stars with 8:19 remaining in this first period.
Well, Jamie Benn was saying this morning that from the first day of training camp, Lindy Ruff has preached, we got to play better defense. Go back to last season, Dallas was also a high-scoring team then, second in the league in scoring a year ago, but they were 27th in goals against. This year, 13th. So much improved in that area.
And an interesting move by General Manager Jim Nill, Joe, who was talking to us about it. You asked him about it, bringing in Antti Niemi while they had Kari Lehtonen. That's 2 number 1 goalies.
He said we need that with the travel schedule. He says everything's at least 2 hours away. He said every time we had a back-to-back, we lost in the second game because we didn't have a second goaltender that we could count on to come up with a win. It's been much better this season.
Sharp had a good shot that was stopped by Lundqvist. Oduya missed the net on a deflection. Zuccarello's pass taken away by Patrick Sharp. Sharp started his NHL career with the Philadelphia Flyers and then went to Chicago where he spent 10 seasons. What a time it was. Good save on a tough shot by McDonough.
Well, these players are raving about what Patrick Sharp has brought.
Nash leaves it for Zuccarello. Played across to McDonough. Winds up. Big drive. Hit just wide. And off a Dallas defender's stick. Tyler Seguin stopped by Zuccarello. Now Jason DeMers stopped by Nash. Rangers have been sharp defensively. Giving up only 2 shots on goal. It's kept in by McDonough. Played by Stepan for Jason Megna. Around the boards to Girardi. Back the other way. Stepan. Nash is set up at the top of the crease. Stepan to Megna. Excuse me, that's Girardi indeed. Megna out at the point. Now Rick Nash. Keith Yandel playing it wide of the net. Comes out to Girardi for a shot saved by Niemi. And he stops play. Rangers moving the puck well. And moving well in the offensive zone.
Sam, the Rangers have been the quicker team on the puck. They've been a half a step ahead of Dallas in this first period. Quicker on the puck. They're making more offensive plays. They've had the puck most of the period. And Derek Stepan, this has been his best period in a long time. You mentioned it earlier that he said, before the game how he was starting to feel better. This is his 7th game back from those broken ribs, and he's been good here in the first period.
Face-off win by Dominic Moore. Klein winds it behind the net. Taken by Nash. Backhander, a save made. Excuse me, that was Stolberg on that wraparound try. All the way around the board. Klein after. Goligoski sends it down the ice. Jason Spezza's there. Spezza sets up, looks, finds a trailer. Klingberg shoots, and he scores! Lundqvist got a little of it, but not enough. John Klingberg has tied it for Dallas.
Well, it starts with a long pass by Dallas out of their own zone to Spezza, who is down at the far blue line. And if you give him any kind of time, there's the long pass, and then he just waits. Klingberg, what a story he's been. He puts himself in a position. He comes all the way back. Lundqvist gets a piece of it, didn't get all of it, and it just barely goes over the goal line. Now, he kind of missed the shot, and Lundqvist and Klingberg work out together in the offseason. They skate together. Lundqvist was saying this morning he's a little bit like Erik Karlsson in Ottawa, and he didn't quite get all of that one, and Klingberg comes up with the big goal.
There's Yandel, open man, Boyle. That's the pass into the slot that was blocked. Yandel has it again. Shoot, score! It might have been tipped by Kevin Hayes. He was in front, but the Rangers have taken the lead at 2-1. Yandel took the shot. Hayes was in front.
Yeah, initially it was Boyle that fires it in the slot. Dallas can't clear it, and then just a turnaround, And I think it goes off of the defenseman of Dallas, Yoki Paka, I believe. Just a quick turnaround, and let's see who it hits. I think it hit Yoki Paka, number 2, in the right leg. And Yandel will probably get credit for this.
So 18 seconds after Dallas had tied the game, the Rangers break the tie on the Yandel goal. That shot by Sharp goes wide. 5:40 to go in the first. There's Klingberg in deep. Now Goligoski firing it across, taken off the boards by J.T. Miller, lifts it across.
Sam, that's a good example of what the Rangers have been talking about after that Florida game. Yes, we got 40 shots, but a lot of those shots were from the outside with nobody in front of the net. This one's just an innocent-looking shot, but they get some players there, and that forces the defenders to get there, and sometimes you'll get the fortunate bounce by doing that.
Broussard tried to thread it through for Miller, and it was blocked. For Keith Yandel, his first goal in 32 games. Last goal, October 22nd, against his former team, the Arizona Coyotes. Played on goal, played on a hop by Lundqvist with a glove. He holds it. 4:44 to go in the first period. John Klingberg tied it, and then 18 seconds later, Keith Yandel broke the tie. It's time for Blue Seat Memories. This day in Rangers history, presented by Resorts World Casino New York City, proud sponsor of the Rangers Blue Seats. January 5th, 2011, Matt Zuccarello scored his first NHL goal, an overtime game winner against Carolina. Brandon Dubinsky.
Remember
Matt
him.
Zuccarello. Rangers win. Nice Blue Seat memory. Stepan trying to move it, was blocked by Yashushkin. Spezza is there, up the boards Megda. And Guya battling Megda. Stepan able to work it loose. Nash leads Megda. Megda showing good speed. Check there by Jason Spezza. Here's Stepan. Finds Mark Stahl, who snuck in, but Stahl shot it wide. Spezza with a puck, fires it out, intercepted. Good anticipation by Kevin Klein.
That's a change that Elaine Vigneault has made tonight. Klein back playing with Mark Stahl. Last game against Florida, he was teamed up with Ryan McDonough to go against that Yager line with Barkov, and they shut him down.
Good play by Girardi. Poked away by Sharp. Rangers recover. McDonough for Glass, who deflects it in the Dallas zone. 3:40 to go, first period. Rangers leading 2-1. Stars tied it on a goal by Klingberg. His 6th from Spezza and Goligoski. Spezza now with a 5-game point scoring streak. A goal and 6 assists. That was at 13:50. Then Yandel unassisted at 14:08. Yandel second of the season. Klingberg hustles over. On him is Oscar Lindberg.
They're best buddies. They had dinner last night together in the city.
The Swedish contingent.
Yeah, they played on some national teams.
But today, Joe, it's good to be a man from Finland.
Yeah, sure is.
Finland wins the World Junior Championship.
Congratulations. Boy, what a game that was. Trailed 1-0 going into the third. Led 3-2 with 6 seconds remaining. Russia ties it. Finland wins it in overtime.
And congratulations to the U.S. and Ron Wilson, who coached the U.S. World Junior team. They got a bronze medal, beating Sweden 8-3 in the bronze medal game. Kevin Klein, 2:20 to go in his first period. Rangers have played a strong defensive first period, only giving up 4 shots on goal.
Sam, they played that way by being aggressive. You know, they've spent a lot of time on the forecheck, standing up in the neutral zone. There's another play right there. Klein stands up. Very few times have the Dallas Stars been able to carry the puck over the Rangers' blue line in this first period.
There's an icing against the Rangers with 2:01 remaining in this first period. Saturday on MSG. The Rangers take on Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals. Live coverage begins at 12:30 with Visa Rangers Game Night Daytime Edition. Rangers and the Caps 1 p.m. Saturday on MSG. Al Trotwick double duty on Saturday. He's got the Rangers and the Caps in the afternoon and Hockey Night live at night. We work him.
We got to find him something to do in the morning. You know? He has no problems with the doubleheader. I want to see him if he can do a triple header.
This will be another icing on the Rangers. A minute 50 to go in this first period.
And we get that hockey show in the morning. I'm about to move the Saturday night hockey show to Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
So we can start with that.
Yeah.
Go right into Rangers hockey at 1. Right into Knicks basketball.
That's some good programming by you.
And then we'll have him do some sort of radio show on his way home.
Kevin Klein. Nice pass through to Zuccarello. Moves in, Spezza checks him. He shoots, saved by Niemi. Oh, nice shot. Almost surprised the goaltender with that shot.
Exactly what I was thinking, Sam. I think he did surprise him. I don't think Niemi expected him to take the shot and nearly got by. How about Kevin Klein? What a period he's played. The outlet pass, and then the Rangers do this. The quick passing back and forth. Boy, they have been able to gain the blue line with speed, and then they're not slowing down. They're attacking the net. They're taking shots. Kevin Klein's been excellent here in the first.
When reporters asked Lindy Ruff, the head coach of the Dallas Stars, what type of game he expected, he said, I look back to last year's 2 games, and they were speed duels.
Yeah, and 1-goal games.
That shot blocked. Here's a break for Tyler Seguin. 2-on-1. McDonough gets back. Feeding. Shot save by Lundqvist. Oh, big save by Henrik Lundqvist on Patrick Sharp.
And it all starts with the block of the shot. Dan Girardi tries to get the shot past Tyler Seguin and can't. And that's how quickly Dallas can go on the offense. The shot, block, here comes Seguin. He's got Patrick Sharp with him, and Lundqvist, huge save to keep this a 1-goal Ranger lead. Patrick Sharp, 16 goals on the season, foiled by Lundqvist on that one.
McDonough made a decision to go for right to Tyler Seguin. Seguin pass to set up Patrick Sharp. Brassard had it knocked away. Miller moves it across. Oduya keeps it in. Deep for Jamie Benn out in front. Nice play by McDonough. Shot by Seguin. Blocked. Another shot blocked.
Both of them by McDonough.
And brought out by Miller. Miller with Brassard. Trailing is McDonough. Miller shoots off the post. Under a minute to go in this first period. JT Miller coming close. Brassard's got it. Looking. Pass across. Saved by Niemi as he robs Zuccarello. That's deflected wide. Miller against Jamie Benn. That pass tipped away by Niemi, and Seguin lifts it off the boards and out of the zone.
Boy, what a save that was. Niemi on Zuccarello.
Oduya looks around. Pass, tipped ahead, worked across by Eakin. Hard shot, missed the net. Off the glass, Roussel. Roussel checked by Yandel. That goes into the crease, and diving on top, his stopping play was Lundqvist. Roussel and Yandel going at it after the whistle. With 10.2 seconds remaining.
This is a very good third line that the Dallas Stars have. They've got speed and scoring. Roussel always plays with an edge to his game. And then here's Miller leading the rush after a good move in his own zone. All the way down. Bad angle, but goes off the post. And then here's our Coke Zero super slow-mo. The quick shot by Zuccarello, and Niemi gets the left pad over and makes an excellent save.
Nancy Niemi has faced 14 shots here in the first period. Stopped 12.
He's been good. He really has. The goals that the Rangers have scored, not much he could do on those.
Rangers control the face-off. Stepan plays it off the boards. Step on with a keep in, and the first period comes to an end. That's a good first period for the Rangers. They got the lead. Dallas tied it. The Rangers had a quick response on the goal by Keith Yandle, and they held Dallas to just 6 shots on goal in the first.
I just like their approach to it, Sam. They look like the team that we've seen for over the last couple of years under Alain Vigneault, where they were quick on the puck, skating game, playing in the offensive zone, standing up at the blue line. Jamie Benn didn't have the puck much, nor did Tyler Seguin.
Rangers head off with a lead. We head to the Visa Gameside studio to Al Troutwig. Al.
Sam, on the Delta Intermission Report, we always look forward to talking to Dominic Moore. We'll find out what he thought about that first period and his alma mater, Harvard, taking on rival Quinnipiac at Madison Square Garden on Saturday night. Also, Army-Navy. We'll talk about that. Kevin Mars in the studios for the Audi MSG 150. He's got highlights from Caps and Bruins, a good Eastern Conference matchup. And I'm joined by Anson Carter to find out what he thought about what looks like a very encouraging first period for the New York Rangers. They lead the Dallas Stars and had an immediate response to Dallas evening the score at 1, getting a second goal to go in front. The Delta Intermission Report is next.
Rangers get set for the second period against the Dallas Stars. New York Rangers hockey on MSG, presented by Chase. Good first period for the Rangers, Joe.
I love their aggressiveness, Sam. I mean, the Rangers came out skating, getting pucks to the net, attacking the net. They had 28 attempted shots, of which 14 ended up on goal. Again, they just have players going there, and then they're throwing the pucks there, trying to create a problem for the goaltender, Antti Niemi, and they did. I mean, look at how aggressive they were, and they just played with this attitude that they were going to outwork Dallas, they were going to create scoring chances, and they did all of that. One was a post by J.T. Miller, but that's just a perfect example of how the Rangers came out aggressively and controlled the play.
Associate Coach Scott Arniel and talking things over, planning some strategy with Matt Zuccarello. Keith Yandle scoring the goal that gave the Rangers the 2-1 lead, and the Rangers defense continues to contribute offensively. Rangers defense now has 24 points, 7 goals and 8 goals, 17 assists, 25 points over the last 12 games, including this one. Now let's bring that back. 24 points in the last 11 games, 7 goals, 17 assists. Tyler Seguin checked there by McDonough. McDonough and Girardi, Zuccarello, Miller, and Brassard for the Rangers. Klingberg back forward.
Alain Vigneault electing to go Brassard up against Seguin to start this period.
Miller toward the net, a deflection just wide off the stick of Brassard. Nice play by Miller. Miller again with a good play in the keep in. Zuccarello to Miller. Miller around the net, the pass blocked. He tried to get it through to Brassard, and Goligoski was able to get a skate on.
Well, he lost control of the puck when he got the pass from Zuccarello. That little delay in regaining control of the puck forced Miller to go around the net.
Good shift by that Rangers line of Brassard, Zuccarello, and Miller against Dallas's top line. Pass out to center for Jason Megna. Put back in the Rangers zone. McDonough swings it up the boards. It was touched by Nichushkin, so there's no icing on the play. Held behind the net by Jason DeBerge. San Jose Sharks whips it around the boards, all the way down the ice. It goes. This will be an icing on Dallas. A minute 24 seconds gone by here in the second period.
Yeah, good start by the Brassard line out against that top line. Here's the turnover and the redirection, and DeBerge Niemi just gets a piece of it with his stick. The redirection by Brassard after Miller just turned and fired it to the front of the net. J.T. Miller saying this morning he's still, making an adjustment. You see him talking to Zuccarello about where they want him to be, how often they want him to get to the net. Because he likes going to the net, but he also likes making plays, and you certainly know Brassard and Zuccarello like to handle the puck and make plays themselves.
Klein moving it around the boards. It's stopped there by Jason Spezza, but taken back by Kevin Hayes. Niemi. Good play by Oscar Lindberg. Spezza trying to play it. Oduya is hit by Lindbergh. Shipped off the boards. And back to get it. Mark Stahl. Stahl and Klein paired on defense. There's Tanner Glass. Michel tied up with Stolberg. That puck deflected off the netting and play stops. 2:16 gone by here in the second. Saturday on MSG. Get all the latest Rangers Insight. Plus, go around the NHL on an all-new Hockey Night Live presented by Geico. Saturday night, 9:30 on MSG, hosted by the one and only Al Trotwood. And I'm sure he'll have a good cast with him. He always does. That's whistled down, touched with a high stick by the Dallas Stars. So we've had several stops early on here in the second period. The faceoff back in the Dallas zone. Antoine Roussel. Rangers looking for consistency from players like Rick Nash, from Kevin Hayes. The man who's out of the lineup today, Chris Kreider. Now he's a day-to-day with a cut on his hand, and Coach Alain Vigneault says he expects that Kreider will be back for Saturday afternoon's game against Washington here at the Garden. Alex Goligoski toward the net, wide, looking for deflection with Roussel in front. Eakin chipping it back to Klingberg, saved by Lundqvist, and a battle in front with Roussel and Boyle. Things settle down.
Yeah, Klingberg, number 2 in the league as far as defensemen in scoring. And I asked him this morning, I said, now that you've been around for the first half of the year and everybody knows you're in the league, I said, what's changed with your game and how teams are approaching the way you play? And he said, you know what? He said, they used to come after me aggressively. He said, and that's what I like, so I can make a little move and get past them. He said, now they're kind of, playing differently. They're not coming straight at me. They don't want me to handle the puck and beat anybody one-on-one. Boy, what an outstanding player he is.
Remember when we went to Dallas last season, the first time we saw him, we said, wow, this guy shoots the pucks. I mean, that just opened everybody's eyes.
Well, he shoots the puck, Sam, but he's got great hands. His ability to just make moves with the puck, just pull the puck in and beat players is really special.
Nice pass from Zuccarello to Miller. Miller drives toward the net as he was checked there by Demers. McDonough around the board, stopped by Demers. Off the glass, knocked down by McDonough. Good keep in. The captain moves deep, turns, fires in front of deflection. That was blocked. Penalty upcoming.
That'll be against the Rangers. I think Brassard accidentally got his stick up.
Delayed penalty.
Sagan is the one that went down, dropped his stick. Now he picks it up and he's heading slowly towards the bench.
Dallas gets an extra skater on as they head up ice. Jason Spezza with a puck. That deflects deep into the zone. Girardi after it. Out comes Fiddler with a backhander, a save by Lundqvist. Here is Klingberg with a shot blocked by Zuccarello. Goligoski tried to play it. This is all on a delayed penalty. Now the Rangers gain possession. A high sticking call coming up on the Rangers.
And Brassard jumps right back over the bench and heads to the penalty box. And now they're checking to see if there was any blood drawn. There you see, no question about the call up high. See, Brassard tried to knock the puck out of midair and instead catches the jaw of Sagan. So they checked it, no blood, so that's a 2-minute minor for high sticking.
Now here's a concern. That's the Rangers' penalty kill, which at one point in the season has been a strength, but in 4 of the last 5 games, the Rangers have given up power play goals, 7 power play goals in the last 5 games.
Yeah, and this no other team has more power play goals in the league than Dallas. Percentage-wise, they're 4th. 35 power play goals on the season for the Stars.
Good face-off win by the Rangers in the clear. Rangers have Dominic Moore and Jesper Fast. Mark Stahl and Kevin Klein pass across for Matthias Janmark. Stahl, now Klein. Moore. Klein tied up with Nichushkin, who gets it back to Goligoski. His shot was blocked, partially blocked by Mark Stahl. Played there by Jason Spezza. Here's Goligoski. Looking. Nichushkin. Valeri Nichushkin moves in. That pass goes through to Jason Spezza. Stahl lost the stick momentarily, got it back. And Jesper Fast with a good play to clear it out. 1 minute to go in the Dallas power play.
Yeah, and the Rangers able to make a change and get some fresh players on the ice.
Nash and Stepan, McDonough and Girardi on.
Yeah, the big boys on the ice now for Dallas.
Nash missed Jamie Benn. Benn carries in, sets it up. Benn fakes, block, good play by McDonough. And the pass back is out of the zone. Benn is taken out in the play by Nash. Here comes Stepan. Saved by Niemi. Back the other way, Klingberg. Across for Patrick Sharp. Jamie Benn's pass tipped. They move the puck well. Tyler Seguin in the corner against McDonough. Pass back to Klingberg. Looking for shooting lane. Finds one. It's deflected off the glass. Eakin playing it up the boards to Sharp. Now Klingberg across to Seguin. That shot blocked by McDonough. Chops it. And it's cleared out by Stepan. That's it for the power play. No shots on goal. Great job of blocking shots by the Rangers. Rangers maintain a 2-1 lead. 6:10 gone by in the second period. Vernon Fiddler checked there by Dan Boyle. They were teammates briefly in San Jose. That shot blocked. Fiddler drops it back. Pass across. Nobody there.
Yandel's hurting. He made two real good plays. The first one with the stick. The second one was a block.
There's Miller on the takeaway. Brought out by Brassard. The dump in. Demers trying to play it. And it's taken back by Brassard. Fiddler knocks it away, but Miller takes it and takes a hit from Oduya. Roussel and Stahl along the boards. Fiddler behind the net. Hit by Miller. CBR's pass intercepted by Klein. He dumps it in. Nice play by Kevin Klein. Boy, he's good. He anticipates those passes.
Smart players, and we talked about that earlier. He just reads the play all over the ice extremely well.
A little over 7 minutes gone by in the second. Rangers leading 2-1. Jason Demers with the puck. Kevin Hayes forechecking. Long pass broken up by Mark Stahl. Klein to Fast. Fast spins back with Nichushkin on the forecheck. Out for Lindberg. Lindberg after it. Janmark there. Fans reacted as Oduya got the stick on Lindberg, slowing him down a little bit and looking for an interference call.
Yes, and I actually thought it was a good non-call. It looked like Lindberg got his stick caught in the equipment. And it made it look like he was the one that was being hooked, but I think it was the other way around, actually, and I think a good non-call.
Janmark, whose pass is blocked by Fast. Janmark takes a hit from Tanner Glass. 8 minutes gone by in the first. This is an icing on the Rangers.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at the Rangers. Another real good scoring opportunity from our Buick RoboCam. As the Rangers are shorthanded. Look at the effort here of Nash on Jamie Benn. And then gets the help from Stepan and a good stick save by Antti Niemi. Niemi comes over, gets a stick on it first, then the right pad, and prevents the Rangers' first shorthanded goal of the season.
The RoboCam replay is brought to you by the new Buick. Buick, your kind of luxury. Rangers still one of 4 teams without a shorthanded goal this season. Tanner Glass working on the forecheck along with Victor Stahlberg. Takeaway by Dominic Moore. He took a hit from Eaves. Boyle going back after the puck. On him, Cody Eakin. Out for Nash. Nash hit by Travis Moen. Boyle brings it in. Klingberg checks him. Moore is tied up by Goligoski. And Klingberg has it. 11:10 to go, second period. Rangers leading 2-1. A broken stick. The takeaway saved Niemi as he stopped Megna.
That was Klingberg that tried to make a pass, and the blade of his stick snapped.
Dallas gets out. Klingberg gets safely to the bench. Benn aggressive on the forecheck against Klein. Here's Jamie Benn around the net. Trying to get it back to Oduya. Nash took it away. Nash races down to Mers there. Stepan, trailer, Megna. Megna into the corner around to Derek Stepan. Stepan checked by Demers. And Nash. Jamie Benn stopped him. Stepan back to Nash. Nash against Demers. Reverses. McDonough's in deep. Pass in front, deflected over the top by Stepan. Stepan again, out to Girardi. Down to Nash. Nash checked by Oduya. And it's taken away. Tyler Seguin able to bring it out. Midway point, second period. Rangers leading 2-1.
Each team with 2 shots here in the second period. We played just over 10 minutes.
Up the board, Miller stopped by Goligoski. Nichushkin. On him was McDonough. That pass intercepted by Miller. Miller breaks out with Zuccarello. Passed it back, and Zuccarello wasn't expecting it. Girardi all the way across to Zuccarello. Leaves it for Brassard. Janmark checks him. Miller against Nichushkin. Good job by Miller. Pass down low to Brassard. Down to Klein, and shot was blocked. Klingberg able to move it. Nichushkin was slowed down and stopped. And then the puck cleared up by Klingberg. Given away to Janmark. And back for it. Zuccarello able to clear it out. 9 minutes to go. We've had continuous play for several minutes. And offside. Dallas, 8:57 to go. Second period. Rangers 2, Stars 1. Look at the Kia Conference standings in the East. Washington up top of the Metro Division. Islanders 10 points behind second place. Rangers 13 points behind Washington. Florida Panthers have won 9 in a row. They're leading 2-1 in Buffalo tonight, middle of the game. With Montreal and Detroit right behind. Devils and Bruins in the playoffs. But there is Ottawa, Pittsburgh. They've gone 4-1-1 in their last 6. They're coming up. Tampa Bay Lightning right there.
Even the Hurricanes are trying to hang in there. And if the playoffs start today, all 3 teams from the area would be in. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yes, sir, that would. Fired in by Jordy Benn, Jamie's older brother. Great defense for the Stars. Kipaka's pass was out of the zone. Kipaka ahead. Fiddler sends it in. Handel swings around for Fox, stopped by Vernon Fiddler. Fiddler chases it down. Fiddler's pass blocked by Boyle. Foss, pressure there by Eaves. Boyle lifts it. Into the, he's right out. Delay of game. Tried to bank it off the glass and missed. Went over the glass into the crowd, and that's an automatic.
Yeah, Foss actually made a real good play. He wasn't sure. He didn't want to just get rid of the puck, so he held on to it and went behind the net. And I believe the puck went on edge. Let's see. Yeah, it was just kind of floating around a little bit. It wasn't flat when Boyle went to make the play, and up and over the glass is a penalty.
And you don't want to take penalties against these Dallas Stars team. They set up the power play with Jason Spezza taking the face-off. Face-off win by Dominic Moore.
Our Rangers been good on face-offs.
Yes.
They won 70% in the first period, and they've been winning them here again in the second.
Pressure by Moore. Boyle, delay of game at 11:39. Dallas 0 for 1 on the power play. Did not get a shot on goal on that first one. Tyler Seguin missed it. Girardi trying to clear. Foss helped, but it was blocked by Jamie Benn. Good play by Benn. Double team. That shot toward the net. Goes into the corner. Hit the referee. Spezza there to play it. On the line. Taken out of the zone by Klingberg. Brought back in offside. Dallas. Stars still with only 8 shots on goal in the game.
And the Rangers have had so much pressure on the puck in this first period and a half. They just haven't given Dallas much opportunity to control the puck. They don't, the goal that Dallas scored was on that long pass, and Spezza had time to make a play. But other than that, it's been a first half of this game where Dallas has faced a lot of pressure from the Rangers.
Racing for the puck, Rick Nash. Spezza able to take it back with help from Patrick Sharp.
Boy, that's a good play from Sharp. Sharp lifted the stick of Nash.
Klingberg drops it back to Jason Spezza. One-time Ottawa Senator. Banks it off the boards from Tyler Seguin. Now to Klingberg and across to Sharp. Winds up, big drive, saved by Lundqvist with a blocker, and the rebound went all the way out. Good play by Lundqvist. Seguin. Shot by Klingberg. Save on a deflection. The rebound goes wide as Ben was knocked down trying to go to the backhand.
Yeah, he went right off the post with it, I believe, Sam.
Rangers clear. The Stars just missed. Good play around the net.
Boy, you see the talent of Ben. He was able to deflect the first shot from Klingberg, get his own rebound, and go to his backhand as he was getting knocked down and goes off the post.
25 seconds to go in the power play. Pass through to Demers. Up ahead to Nichushkin. Back to Demers and now to Goligoski. Demers. Nichushkin. Looking. Shot blocked by McDonough. Goligoski to Demers. Back to Goligoski. In front of him is Jesper Fast. Goligoski across to Janmark. The shot saved by Lundqvist. The rebound. Demers shoots. That's blocked by McDonough and cleared out. Power play over. Boyle out of the penalty box. Feeds to McDonough. The big drive is a pad save by the ME. Back the other way. Nichushkin. Janmark goes to the net. Shot blocked by Klein. Rangers turn it. Oh, man. Rangers' defensive play has been absolutely superb. 5:55 to go in the second period. Rangers leading 2-1. And a Let's Go Rangers chant up from the crowd.
Well, what a game this has been. We've seen a little bit of everything. Great defensive play, skating, goaltending, you name it.
Vernon Fiddler to the puck, checked by Yandel. Pass goes all the way through, taken by Brassard. Given away to Travis Mullen. Knocked down by Brassard. And Miller able to pick it up and carry in. Checked by Oduya. Miller stays with it. Oduya on him. Miller keeps it alive, trying to get it back to Yandel. Mullen able to get it to Eames. He gave it away to Miller. Oduya, who started his NHL career with the New Jersey Devils. Last couple of years, championship years, 2 out of the last 3 years with Chicago. Mark Stahl off the boards out of the zone. Kevin Hayes picks it up. Under 5 minutes to go in the second. Paka. Hit by Hayes. Around the board, stopped by Girardi. Back down to Hayes. Paka hit by Lindbergh. Girardi fires and is intercepted by Seguin, who feeds Sharp. Back for Seguin off the skate of Lindbergh. Rangers take it back. Jesper Fast there to play it. Rangers have had only 3 shots on goal here in the second period. Dallas with 4.
Well, they've done a good job on Seguin in this game. Seguin hasn't touched the puck all that much. The one on the block shot where he came down and fed Patrick Sharp at the end of the first period. But other than that, Seguin hasn't had the puck all that often.
Nichushkin on the move. McDonough there to stop him. Janmark played it ahead. McDonough takes over. Nash quickly to Megna. Couldn't handle it. Take it back. Janmark sets up the Demers. Saved by Lundqvist. He holds it. 3:46 to go in the second period. Rangers defense has been outstanding. They lead it 2-1.
Jamie Benn doesn't have a point in 2 games. He almost had one on the power play. There's Klingberg with the shot. Deflected there by Ben. And look at the great hands here. He's getting knocked down and still reaches out and just off the post. He came that close to tying it up. Strength, the hands, the determination. 24 goals, leads the NHL. What a season he is having.
Henrik Lundqvist has faced only 11 shots in the game. Stopped 10 of them. Yandel tried to play it. Roussel playing it behind the net, gets to it.
Yeah, Roussel and Yandel continue their battle.
Goligoski trying to tee it up, and he's off balance. Klingberg shoots, blocked in front. That shot by Sevior got through. Good save by Lundqvist. Boy, Sevior made a good play. After the shot did not get through, he found the rebound. Klingberg up ahead for Sevior. He's checked there by Stallberg. Dan Boyle, big drive, deflected over the top off the glass. That's aggressive play by Stallberg. Stallberg takes it away. The Emmy got a piece of that pass, and it comes out of the zone. Roussel fires from long distance. Miller and Sevior. Eakin is there. Now Sevior with a back pass, gave it away to Brassard just off the bench. Pushed ahead by Yandel, but cleared out by Demers. Here comes Miller. Miller with Brassard. Brassard, pass in front, block, goes through the Emmy, goes in! The Stars put it into their own net. I think it'll be Brassard's goal. But the Stars put it in, and the Rangers lead 3-1.
Yeah, J.T. Miller with the setup. Real good move coming up. Here's Miller with the drop pass. And then I believe Johnny Oduya, 47 in white, left side of your screen. As he tries to reach in, he just can't pull it out, and instead pushes it over the line. It would not have made it had not Oduya pushed it. Now there was a little momentum. Maybe it would have. Either way.
He helped it in.
Yeah, it goes off the right leg of Demers. As it was going one way towards center ice, hits the leg of Demers back towards the goaltender, and then Oduya just couldn't fish it out of his own net.
The Rangers get the benefit of that and lead 3-1. That shot saved, made by Lundqvist. Brassard was taken down. McDonough with a strong move. The puck fired out of the zone. Girardi. Pass taken back by the Demers. 2 minutes to go in the second period.
Scored by number 16,
Eric Brassard with his 14th goal of the season, giving the Rangers a 3-1 lead. The only goal thus far in the second period. J.T. Miller with an assist. Miller's done a good job on that line with Brassard and Zuccarello. Nichushkin hit the outside of the net. That pass back to Janmark. That's deflected by Stepan into the corner. Nichushkin has it. Checked by Girardi. Now Jason Spezza. The back pass out of the zone. Brassard from Miller at 17:23, giving the Rangers a 3-1 lead. Nice aggressive play by Megna. Forced the turnover. Stepan to Megna. Megna's pass blocked, deflected. Stepan settles it, shoots wide. Penalty upcoming on Dallas. Good aggressive play. Holding call on the Stars. 1:09 to go in the second period. Jason Megna separated from one-time teammate Alex Goligoski in Pittsburgh. Rangers with a power play coming up. Back in New York, with the Rangers leading the Stars 3-1, heading for the third period. New York Rangers hockey on MSG is presented by Chase. Time for John Gianone's Coach's Report. Let's go to him now between the benches. John.
Sam, thanks very much. I talked to assistant coach Ulf Samuelsson. I said, what from what you've seen in the first 40 minutes stands out to you? And he said there's a lot of good that's happened. He said our one-on-one battles. He basically said, obviously that's related to effort, but our one-on-ones have been good. It doesn't matter what system you play. If you don't win one-on-one battles, you're not going to win games. And we've won most of our one-on-ones tonight. I said, what do you say to a team that's played so well for 2 periods after having struggled for the last month? He said, we haven't haven't said much. Our leadership group in the room right now is talking about playing the same way, finishing this out. It's a good feeling in the room, he said. They're talking about playing with the same energy level, being very hungry, play 200 feet, compete on every shift. We know they're going to give us a push, meaning the Dallas Stars. They're a great team. They're the best team in the league. He said, but that said, there's a real good feeling in our room right now, and it's good to see. Guys?
Yeah, good stuff. Now, Sam, we were at practice yesterday, and in watching that practice yesterday, the way they competed against one another, I think it was one of the hardest practices we've seen. Not necessarily, a lot of the drills were the same, but there was just an intensity amongst the players.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, they're a little ticked off about the way they've been playing, and it's, you know, they brought that, I think, to this game.
Rangers start the third period on the power play with 51 seconds remaining in their man advantage. Dallas, beware. Everybody beware. Dallas Stars are the best third period team in the NHL. They've scored 61 goals in the third period. They win the face-off. They drive the puck down the ice.
You know, and this is not the time to just, you know, take these 2 minutes off.
No.
You know, that's, you try and get that fourth one. You might need it.
McDonough, Boyle, Brassard, Zuccarello, and Nash starting the third period for the Rangers. Brassard carries in. Off the glass. Oduya lost it to Boyle, is in deep. Zuccarello's pass blocked. Zuccarello again. Out to Nash. And across to McDonough. Through Nash to Zuccarello. Nash set up in front of the goaltender. Zuccarello. Out to Boyle. One-timer, a save by Niemi. And the puck kept in by Boyle. Zuccarello, hard pass across. Power play is over. 2 shots on goal on that power play. Brassard, wrister, off the glove of Niemi, but wide of the net. Zuccarello. McDonough to Boyle. Back to McDonough. Moves and a shot blocked. Sevior blocked another shot. That's blocked by Oduya, and he's hurt on that one. Breaking out is Jason Spezza. Spezza was in the penalty box. Is double teamed. McDonough trying to move it. Stopped by Klingberg. Saved by Lundqvist. Sagan hits the side of the net. Spezza's got the puck. Boyle is there. Shot by Jamie Benn is blocked. Rangers come out. Stepan on the puck with J.T. Miller. Off the end boards, Klingberg tied up by Stepan. Miller one-hands it to the net. That shot went wide by Megna.
Boy, I think Goligoski just got a piece of it. Boy, the Rangers are just so decisive, aren't they, Sam? They get to the blue line, they're not stopping, and there's no play. Even that last you saw Stepan just get it, throw it in, and go in, and he's the first man there. And it turns out that it creates another scoring chance, and Megna has not looked out of place in this game whatsoever.
He's checking the video board, looking at that replay of his last shot. He had an assist on the Stepan goal. I was incorrect. He was not a teammate of Goligoski. They're both former Penguins, but they weren't in Pittsburgh at the same time. Rangers controlling the puck. Jesper Fast to the back pass. Shot by Yandel. Deflected and a save. That's a tough save by Antti Niemi. A minute 57 gone by here in the third period. United by Blue, game day and every day. Experience the official Rangers app to connect to breaking news, enhanced calendar, and a whole lot more. That's the New York Rangers official app. Lindbergh taking the face-off. He's on with Hayes and Fast. Stahl and Klein. Spezza lifting it out of the zone. Hayes playing it back. Klein. His pass tipped ahead by Jesper Fast. Back forth, Jordy Benn. Off the side of the net. Hayes after. Good play by Kevin Hayes. Lindbergh. Taken away by Nichushkin, and out of the zone comes Janmark. Matthias Janmark. Checked by Stahl. Foss tried to play. Janmark has it back. Nice pass to Oduya. Saved by Lundqvist. Boy, Matthias Janmark made a good play. And Lundqvist had to come up with a big save. Time for our Cadillac trivia question. Which 4 current Rangers have won gold medals at the World Junior Championships? World Juniors, wound up in Helsinki, Finland, with a home country. Finland winning the gold medal, beating Russia 4-3 in overtime. The United States won the bronze. U.S. beat Sweden 8-3. 4 Rangers for 1 gold at the World Juniors. That shot, close save by Lundqvist. Tough shot by Jason Demers as Dallas pressing down by 2.
Now the Dallas Stars win this face-off, and Demers will just come all the way across from the middle, makes a good little move, and Lundqvist makes a real good save. You know, between periods, Steve Valiquette talking to Al, talking about how the Rangers are doing a good job allowing Lundqvist to see those shots. That's another one. Still a good save, but he was able to follow it right off the stick.
Girardi up the boards out of the zone. Demers, that goes all the way the other way and becomes some icing on the Stars. 2:53 gone by in the third. Check out our upcoming schedule. Brought to you by Lexus, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Rangers. Saturday afternoon here at the Garden, Washington Capitals, 1 p.m. on MSG. Monday night, Boston Bruins here at the Garden, 7 p.m. on MSG. And then the Rangers at the Islanders, Thursday night, 7 p.m. All games preceded 1/2 hour by Visa. Rangers game night. That's a good-looking schedule. Some good games there, Joe.
And then the following weekend, busy as well.
Washington, Boston, and the Islanders.
And then in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
Good stuff.
Philadelphia's winning tonight, by the way. 3-1 at home against Montreal.
Canadians a little let down after the Winter Classic. A 5-1 win over Boston in the Winter Classic. Nice play by Zuccarello, coming back, intercepting, turning it the other way. Brassard tried to get it back to Zuccarello, but Goligoski broke it up and it turned into an offside on the Rangers.
Now, Montreal had been struggling somewhat anyway, but they played great in that Winter Classic against Boston. But boy, what a job the Rangers have done. Tyler Seguin there on the left, sitting next to the captain, Jamie Benn, does not have a shot on goal in this game yet. And he is one of the league leaders in that category. This gives you an idea how well the Rangers have played in this one.
Yandel. Now Klingberg lifts it across for Patrick Sharp. Boyle plays it back. Cody Eakin off the glass and goes, picked up by Sharp. Out to Goligoski. Glove save by Lundqvist, and he holds it. 4:01 gone by in the third. Experience the lounges at Madison Square Garden, a spectacular group and hospitality space on the bridge level. For more info, call 212-465-6080 or visit NewYorkRangers.com. What a great place to watch a game.
Now Lindy Ruff making a few changes. He has taken Patrick Sharp off that top line and put him on a line that's out there now with Roussel on one side.
And Cody Eakin's the center.
Eakin in the middle.
Klein trying to play it. Roussel all over him. Roussel will take it away. Stahl helps out. And a penalty call. Tripping call.
That would be against, that happened in front of that Dominic Moore. So he'll go off, and that hurts the Rangers also because he's one of their better penalty killers and face-off men. So he goes off.
This is an important point of the game.
Oh, it absolutely is. They're just anytime there's Dominic Moore in front, that's on Eakin. So down he goes, and so the Rangers still plenty of work to do in this one against this high-powered team.
Third power play of the game for the Dallas Stars. They're 0 for 2 with 2 shots. Stepan fires it down the ice. Stepan and Nash. Girardi and McDonough, the Rangers penalty killers. Tripping on Dominic Moore at 4:12. Rangers trying to stop the Stars from gaining any momentum. Rangers leading 3-1. Seguin back to Spezza. Spezza moves in, looks around the net, feeds Tyler Seguin. Seguin looking. Jamie Benn set up in front. Now Patrick Sharp. Good aggressive play by Nash. He forced the turnover. Stepan breaking down. Stepan to the net. Save. Rebound. Score! Derek Stepan with the Rangers' first shorthanded goal of the season. And the Rangers lead it 4-1.
Now, Sam, this goal is indicative of the way the Rangers have been the entire game. Watch the pressure. Nash won't stop, won't quit, gets a piece of it. So does Girardi, then just throws it to Nash. Quick little pass up, and then the rebound try. Stepan gets the Rangers their first shorthanded goal of the year, gets his own rebound, and puts that in to give the Rangers a 3-goal lead. What a play.
Joe, he told us he was feeling better.
Yeah.
He is. Second goal of the game. The last shorthanded goal the Rangers scored was last season on April 4th. Derek Stepan against the Devils. 4-1 Rangers. Stars power play continues. They're offside on the play. 56 seconds remaining in the Dallas power play.
Sam, you know, Rick Nash was talking yesterday about staying together. Just look at the work here. Stop, start, relentless, pressure, uses his feet, kick that puck away. And then a little Girardi pass, 5-foot pass, a little 10-foot pass by Nash. And Nash can only watch as his centerman, Derek Stepan, puts it in shorthanded.
Good effort. You can see the teammates just hugging him on the play. They realize how much effort he put into that play.
He's been like that, Sam, right from the start of this game, Rick Nash.
You're right about that. Stepan gets the goal, second of the game, 8th of the season from Nash and Girardi at 4:55. Saved by Lundqvist. Nash with 2 assists in the game. Demers waits. Shot was deflected by Jesper Fast. Here's Demers again. 15 seconds to go on the power play. Nichushkin, the pass deflected away by McDonough. Nichushkin has it back. McDonough's on him. Girardi trying to move it. Got it to Fast, couldn't clear, but falling down was Janmark. That shot went wide and around the boards and out. And the teams are back in full strength. Jesper Fast moves across. Rangers penalty killing, 3 for 3 in the game. And they've scored a shorthanded goal. It's 4-1 Rangers. 6.5 minutes gone by in the third. Fiddler fell down. And Zuccarello cut in front of him. Boyle able to clear it out. And Yoki Paka sends it off the boards. A little too far for Sevior. And
Delayed offside.
Okay, that's why Sevior didn't touch the
right.
Boyle's pass went by JT Miller, played by Jordy Ben. Yoki Paka up ahead off of Moen. And Zuccarello able to play it back. A little over 7 minutes gone by in the third. The Rangers have added to their lead with a shorthanded goal. It's a 4-1 game. The Rangers have scored the last 3 goals of the game. The big goal was that response goal after Dallas had tied it. The Rangers came right back with a goal by Keith Yandel 18 seconds after Dallas had scored. Jamie Benn fires wide, the puck out of the zone. Kevin Hayes after. Klingberg gets back to check him. Hayes protects it with the big body. Waits, finds Kevin Klein, and that shot was stopped by Niemi and put in on the rebound by Victor Stolberg. Big play by Kevin Hayes, and Stolberg benefits, finding the rebound. It's 5-1 Rangers.
Niemi had no idea where it was, but give Kevin Hayes credit for this. It's Hayes and Klingberg on the one-on-one. Hayes looks before he gets there. Now he uses his size. Now he takes his time and waits for a defenseman to get in position. That shot gets deflected on the way in. Niemi has no idea where it is, but Stolberg does. Finds it, stops, reaches, and just finds a little opening to put it in. And the Rangers with a commanding 4-goal lead.
The Rangers are the team with a big third period. First 8 minutes, they scored 2 goals. And they lead it 5-1. Boyle and Yandel. Yandel off the boards for Tanner Glass. Played by Oduya. And Gore trying to play it. Cody Eakin's pass. Rangers able to keep in. Eakin again.
And the Rangers, you can't let up and take penalties against this team. We talk about it often. They can score in bunches.
Scored by number 25.
Patrick Sharp, who was stopped by Boyle. Roussel out to Jordy Ben. That's a pass. In front, they score just like that. Quick setup, and the Stars cut the Rangers lead to 5-2.
Now Jordy Ben had his head up, and he found Spets over on the other side. That's a play by Sharp to get it started. Then he goes to the front of the net. Here's the pass. Sharp was right in front, right? Beautiful pass coming back the other way. And Sharp puts it in.
Roussel was there too, Joe. Let's see.
Roussel might have been Roussel.
I think he's got his stick in front of Sharp.
Was it in front of it?
It might, might have.
I thought it was Sharp, but maybe it's Roussel. Either way, how about the passing?
Great.
That's what Dallas can do to you.
Well, just after you said it, Joe, how quickly they can score and bang.
The Rangers had everybody back, but boy, they move it so quickly and have that ability to find the open man.
It's now a 5-2 game with 11 minutes to go. There's still a lot of time to go in this game. Icing on the Rangers. So Stolberg scores at 7:50. 50 seconds later, the goal for Dallas.
I think Roussel stole it. There's the pass.
Sharp should get an assist.
Let's see. There's Roussel. Right there. And Sharp's going, wait a second, I'm the open man here? For Roussel, that's his 7th of the season.
5-2 game. Here's Roussel working hard along the boards. Keep in by Demers. And that's cleared out by Nash.
Roussel scores big goals for this team. Coming in, he had 6 goals coming in. 5 of those were game winners. So you find different people to contribute.
On the boards. Demers gets to it. Now Roussel. There's Patrick Sharp. Checked from behind by Brassard and Stahl. And the Rangers take it away. Zuccarello. Oduya. Back for Demers. Roussel's 7th at 8:40. Cuts the Rangers lead. Here's Nichushkin moving in. Save! A tough shot. He used Kevin Pine as a screen. And Lundqvist had to make a tough save.
Dallas has a little jump right now. They got a little something going here.
Rangers clear it out. Then it's going to be another icing. 9:50 to go. Whistle blows. Play stops with 9:49 to go. And the Rangers leading 5-2. Experience Blue Shirts hockey in a suite in Madison Square Garden. Whether you're entertaining key clients or hosting potential new ones, there's no better place than a suite to view the action. Call 212-465-6771 or visit NewYorkRangers.com. Face-off win by Spezza. Big shot by Klingberg went high off the glass, and Lundqvist stops play. 9:43 to go. Third period. Rangers have a 5-2 lead, but Dallas is still dangerous. Trivia question, Cadillac trivia question. We're going to answer it. Which 4 current Rangers have won gold at the World Junior Championships?
All right, I'm going to go Stepan,
Yes.
Lindbergh, Kreider, and JT Miller.
I go with the 3 Americans, and I'm going to say the 4th one is going to be Brassard. 3 Americans and Mark Stahl for Canada. Okay. All right.
Okay.
We were good on the Americans.
All right.
And we showed you Antti Ranta because he's from Finland, and Finland won the gold medal today in the World Junior Championships in Helsinki. 4-3 over Russia in overtime to win the gold. The U.S. winning the bronze, beating Sweden 8-3. Goligoski on the move out of the zone, leads Spezza. Spezza fakes, moves in on Klein, pass across. Nice play by Stolberg coming back. He breaks out. He's got Tanglass on the left side. Does he see him? Pass through a little too far. Glass tied up in the corner. Give away to Moore. Moore's pass blocked. He's surrounded, and Janmark able to clear it out for Nichushkin. McDonough takes it back. Nichushkin all over him. McDonough keeping it alive. Play by McDonough, and it's cleared out by Kevin Hayes. 8:50 to go in the third. Rangers with a 5-2 lead. Fost goes back. Lindbergh. Now Girardi for McDonough. The Rangers able to clear it out. Yokipaka for Roussel. There's Jordy Ben. Wide in the deep. Eakin back to Sharp. Who gives it away to Mark Stahl. Hayes couldn't clear. Shot toward the net. Sharp just missed. Oh! He was falling down, and his backhander went right through the crease wide of the net.
Yeah, somehow he was able to get it underneath Lundqvist and missed on the far side.
Oh, Dallas came pretty close there. Rangers failed to clear the puck. Dallas almost had a goal. 7:45 to go in the third.
Did I say commanding lead at 5-1, Sam?
But you said...
Did I take that back?
No, but you said Dallas can score in bunches. Here's Nash with a takeaway. Trying to get it to Megna. Nash. Backhander stopped by Niemi. And Demers across for Moen. Dallas will go home, play 2 home games before heading for the West Coast in 3 games in California. Gandil up the boards. Zuccarello tipped it ahead. 7 minutes left, third period. Rangers leading 5-2. Nichushkin to Spezza. Spezza's pass. Nichushkin scores! And with 6:54 to go, it's 5-3.
Boy, can that Jason Spezza pass the puck? That's consecutive assists by him in this period. And that's just a gorgeous assist. Here they come. Able to get the line. And then it's just a little give and go. I mean, that was so precise. And Nichushkin, who had 2 goals last game, gets another one here. Look at that pass. Right onto the tape, and Nichushkin wasted no time. Let it go quickly, and a 5-1 lead is now 5-3. And let's see what we're going to challenge
here. They got a coach's challenge for offside.
Okay.
Eric Furlat is the...
to play to see if there was an offside prior to the goal.
Frederick Lecuyer making the announcement that the Rangers are challenging. There was an offside. So, let's see what we can see.
Oh, you know what?
Ooh, that's close, Joe.
It looks like Spezza's offside. Puck is still on the blue line, it looked like, from here. And Spezza is clearly over the blue line.
Wow.
Boy, that's heads up by probably Jerry Dineen, who's watching assistant coach and video coordinator for the Rangers. And sometimes you have your backup goaltender keeping an eye on these things as well. And they're taking a good look, boy. That from that angle, that looked like it was offside. Right. We'll find out.
The linesmen, both linesmen took a look at it. They report to the referee.
Didn't take long either, Sam. I think this one's going to be reversed.
Okay, here's the announcement.
After review, the play was offside prior to the goal.
You can hear the fan reaction. The goal is disallowed. John Giannone between the benches. What did you hear down there?
Give the assist on that one to Ulf Samuelsson because he stands in the third period at the far end of the bench. He is exactly where the blue line is, and literally within a second after that puck went in, he was screaming back down the bench to both Scott Arniel and his head coach, Alain Vigneault, to look at the offside. He knew it right away, but look where the linesman is. He can't straddle the blue line because the puck is in the area, so he wasn't there necessarily where a normal linesman would be. Ulf Samuelsson is right on that blue line, and he knew it right away.
Yeah, that's great stuff, John. Thanks. That is great stuff.
Heads up by assistant coach Ulf Samuelsson.
He is. Where he is standing is almost, if that blue line were to extend through the boards, it would be right at his feet. There he is. Good stuff, John.
It's just part of everything that goes into a game. You know, you don't think about it all the time, but you realize that's an important factor here. Now it's still 5-2, 6:45 to go. A pass from Megna, just a little too far, went off his stick.
They almost have a commanding lead. Now that that's been reversed.
You let us know, Joe, when you feel it's commanding.
If they can reverse that second one, then we got something.
Klein with a good play, 2-on-1, Megna with Nash. Nash, Megna, score! Welcome to the New York Rangers, Jason Megna. His first goal since 2014.
Now it's a commanding 4-goal lead.
There you go.
This was a 2-on-1 where neither of these passes were very good. Both players had trouble handling them, including the return pass to Megna, and that puck just seemed to jump off his stick. It starts with good defensive play. Dan Girardi on one side, then that one right back the other way. Megna didn't get out of it, but enough of it. Here it is. It kind of jumps off his stick, off the post and in. Megna, a 2-point night for him.
Another Rick Nash play, unselfish play, giving it right back to Jason Megna, making his Rangers debut. Rick Nash has 3 assists in the game. Jason Megna with a goal and an assist. And the Rangers lead is 6-2 with just under 6 minutes to go.
As a Ranger,
Megna from Nash at 13:38.
I mentioned Girardi was actually Kevin Klein that made the play in his own zone to get it started.
Kevin Klein, time of the goal, 13 minutes, 38
So the Rangers,
Megna, his first of the season from Nash
with 3 goals here in the third period. And they've broken it open with 5:25 to go. They lead at 6-2. Give Kevin Klein an assist. 2 assists in the game for him. Yandel fires it hard around the boards. And kept in by the Stars. Yandel with Eaves all over him. Gets it around to Jesper Fast. Back to Keith Yandel. Lindbergh with Hayes. Hayes shoots, save, Yemi. Yemi's played all the way, 6 goals. That's going to hurt his goals against average. You're watching the Foxwoods Final 5. Foxwoods, the wonder of it all. Visit foxwoods.com.
And you know what, Sam? Kevin Hayes has gotten back in the lineup. He's been fine. He hasn't tried to do too much. Kept the game simple, and he's been effective playing that way.
4:20 to go. Antoine Roussel. Stall on him. Roussel in the corner. So a big turnaround. Just when it seemed the Dallas Stars had cut the Rangers lead to 5-3, the heads-up work of the Rangers coaching staff, led by Ulf Samuelsson, challenged the play, believing it was an offside. It was. The goal was disallowed. And from 5-3, the game turned the 6-2 when the Rangers scored on the goal by Jason Megna on the 2-on-1. 3:35 to go. The Rangers now, over the last 5 games, have alternated wins and losses. They are going to be 3-2 in the last 5. Now they have to find that consistency of putting wins together.
Yeah, but the other thing that's happening is they give up 22 shots against Tampa Bay in a 5-2 win. They give up 20 shots against Florida in a 3-0 loss. They come back. I mean, these are all good offensive teams, and now they go against the highest scoring team in the league, and they've given up 23 shots with 3:22 to go. So those are all the types of things that where this team starts. They start there, and when they're playing that way is when they win games.
And remember who's coming in Saturday afternoon, the Washington Capitals, and their high-scoring machine, led by Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah.
Megna at the line, trying to play it ahead of his blocked out. Rangers have tied a season high with 6 goals tonight. 3 minutes to go. Rangers have been these games in this last stretch, a month or so, where they have played these good games, but they haven't been able to put them together in back-to-back efforts. We'll see on Saturday afternoon. Dominic Moore plays it out for Victor Stalberg. Stalberg has a goal in this game. Some real big positive signs other than just the score. We've seen Derek Stepan get his game back together. We've said it earlier a couple of times. Feeling better, body feeling better, coming back from the broken ribs, scores 2 goals in this game tonight. A big factor. Rick Nash playing all over the ice. 3 assists in the game. Jason Megna joining the team, getting a goal and an assist. Under 2 minutes to go. Demers stopped by Fost. Kevin Hayes returning to the lineup, playing a solid game. Here's Lindbergh. Deflected all the way across and is played out. So for the Dallas Stars, they come up with an empty visit to the New York metropolitan area.
Yeah.
It's not going to sit well with head coach Lindy Ruff. Their first tough stretch of the season.
Tyler Seguin said this morning, he said, you know what, it's not bad to have, go through things like this. It makes a better team. We're going to take a look at our Volvo Telestrator here, Sam, on that last goal by the Rangers. And, we'll just start right here. Derek Stepan, right? Watch the play he makes as they carry the puck in the zone. He reads it, pressure right there, stop it there. This man is Kevin Klein. He reads what Stepan is doing, pressure on him. They force the turnover. Klein gets it up quickly, turned into the 2-on-1 and the goal by Megna. Good read, good defensive play, and it's the way the Rangers have played the entire game.
Mentally sharp, Joe.
Oh, they've been just so sharp all night.
Good play in front there by Girardi on the block. Zuccarello after the puck is played the other way. Under a minute to go in the game. You're watching the Foxwoods Final 5. Foxwoods, the wonder of it all. Visit foxwoods.com.
Pittsburgh trailed Chicago 2-0, scored 2 goals in the third period, and that game's in overtime now. You mentioned earlier, Pittsburgh playing better hockey. Yeah. They're starting to get going.
4-1-1 in the last 6. Florida's up 4-1 in Buffalo, Joe, as they look for 10 straight wins. Wow. They are really riding high.
They'll keep winning.
Shot by Eves, saved by Lundqvist, couldn't find the rebound. Oduya got spun around as the puck is sent down the ice. Final seconds, they're on their feet at the Garden. This was a good one. Good way to start the home ice games in 2016. The Rangers beat the Dallas Stars 6-2. Jason Megna called up from Hartford today with Chris Kreider out of the lineup with a hand injury. Comes up with a goal and an assist. And Eric Stepan with a 2-goal game. He needed it. His team needed it. And win number 18 for Henrik Lundqvist.
Sam, so many times over the course of the previous 18 games, you would have one line going, but that was it. Another game, a different line going, that was it. But this was a game where you look at the Stepan line, they were really good. The Brassard line was good. The fourth line was good again. Kevin Hayes comes back in the lineup and does enough to be effective without making critical errors. That's a good start for him to get going again.
And solid play by the entire defense.
Oh, the defense was outstanding.
Rangers head off with a very satisfying 6-2 win. Rangers have now alternated wins and losses in their last 5 games. They are 3-2 in the last 5. And for them, it's their 22nd win of the season. 3 stars of the game brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers on the web at MBUSA.com.
Goal as a New York Ranger.
All right, Jason Megna. That's something he's going to like.
He was good. You know, he added speed to that line. He made plays. He has a goal and an assist. How do you take him out?
Number 61.
You're the GM. Tell me, Sam.
I don't know.
He was great from the first shift.
Rick Nash, what a game. 3 assists, but all over the ice.
900th game of his career, and boy, it was a special one.
And here's the man, Eric Stepan. 2 goals as the Rangers defeat the Dallas Stars 6-2. It's going to be a happy locker room after the game. We'll be back with a whole lot more here at the Garden as the Rangers defeat the Stars 6-2.